Welcome to Beer Untapped with Perry Miller, the podcast. I'm joined by Seth.
Hey, welcome, guys. Thanks for finding us on the internet.
Now, these shows originally aired on Brookings Radio, but now they're all here for your enjoyment. I hope you like it.
There you go. Sit back, enjoy the show, relax. Let us know if you want to see anything on future shows. As we said, this comes out live in the Brookings area, but enjoy this archive episode.
Beer Untapped with Perry Miller. Welcome to Beer Untapped with Perry Miller. This week we talk about beer festivals and, in part 2, a new option for drinking local. Now, the beer festival may be nearly as old as beer itself. Munich's Oktoberfest began in 1810.
Of course, it's probably been the longest-running beer festival. Fun fact, it's never held in October. It's always held in September. So if you're booking flights, make sure you check ahead and don't turn up after everybody's gone.
Seth Cook there from Wooden Legs Brewing of Brookings. He says there are now options much closer to home.
Brookings has its own. We have the Wings and Brewfest. I think it's probably sneaking in almost a decade. Sioux Falls has a couple of places that do beer festivals. You've got Beervana down at Monk's. That's actually held this September. Hy-Vee stores are actually combining powers and putting a beer festival on at the fairgrounds this year in September. Chopped Liver is a festival coming on November 8th. That's actually one of a really big beer festival that's coming in for the first time in Sioux Falls, so we'll be down there as well.
The Brookings Wing and Brew Festival, by the way, August 16th at Swiftel Center. In America, the beer festival has morphed into events that allow you to sample the wares from many different brewers.
You got to kind of pace yourself. If there's 60 breweries and they each got 3-4 beers, using the swill bucket and pouring out what you don't really want to drink 3-4 ounces is a pretty good idea. Otherwise, yikes.
That's Brennan Sully Sullivan from Pints and Quarts. And speaking of them, they'll be doing their own festival a little later this year with their second Oktoberfest celebration. That's coming in September. A highlight, the home brewing competition. Lori Sullivan says they had some 60 entries last year.
It was great. We had picnic tables lined up with the judges and all the tastings of the home brews, and that was very successful. Brookings is really getting into home brewing, and so we want to support that as well.
Coming up in part 2 of Beer Untapped, a new option for drinking local as Bank Brewing opens their tap room in Hendricks.
It's that time of year again. Oktoberfest is here again.
Beer Untapped with Perry Miller continues, and now we travel just across the border to Hendricks, Minnesota, and Bank Brewing. Originally in an old bank, they're now brewing in a brand new expanded setup in the old creamery in Hendricks. Richard Droughty of Brookings recently came on board as their new brewer.
I started homebrewing back in 2010, and I knew that I really was enjoying what I was doing. Everything about the process was just so much fun. I'd go home, and all I'd want to do is think about what was going to be my next batch of beer, what was going to be the next thing I was going to be doing in brewing. And so obviously I wanted to make the next step and turn my hobby into my career. And so that's what we're working on here.
The first new beer with Richard Brewing is called Hop Bandit, a citrusy pale ale.
Aiming for drinkable but big hop flavor, something great for the summer. But I'm a big hop head, and I'm all about big, intense hop flavors and then drinkability for the summer.
Their tap room opened in the old bank last Saturday, and Richard says it went great. And there's more to come with 3 new beers in the works.
Another session IPA, but we're going to go and toss about 50% wheat in it. It's going to be a wheat session IPA featuring the Amarillo hop. And then we're going to move into a Berliner Weiss, actually. It's a Sour Bomb. We're going to call it Sour Bomb, and it's another low ABV session, summer beer, but it brings in an intense tartness from lactobacillus. The next thing we're going to brew, actually, is going to go into a dark beer, finally. I'm a big barbecue fan. I like smoked foods. I like intense foods. And so that led me to do a smoked ale, and it's called Smoke Bomb.
He says you can check the Bank Brewing Facebook page for weekend tap room hours.
Even though I'm broke, I got a 6-pack of beer.
Time to check in with Tyler Luckhurst at Pints and Quarts in Brookings to find out this week's Mike Tap Handle beer.
Twisted Pine out of Boulder, Colorado. We've got their espresso stout on tap. It's that perfect mix of that roasted malt with that espresso kick. So if you're a coffee lover and you're a beer lover, stop in. We've got the perfect stout for you.
Remember to ask for that Mike Handel beer. So what's new this week at Brookings Liquor Store? Beer guide, Drew Eklund.
3 new beers from Belgium. Forgive me if I mispronounce these. The first one is Godin Carolus Cuvée Van de Kaiser. An awesome beer. You should really check this one out. It's well balanced. It's on the sweeter side with a hint of cherries. The next one is Delirium Red. It's got a nice effervescence. It's very sweet. The next one is Straf Hendrik Bruges Triple Ale Wild. This one's initially sweet. It's got hints of apricot and plums. Finishes on the drier side.
If you play on some polka, we'll give you some beer.
Finally, the pick of the week. This time I'm going with an old favorite of mine, Goose Island Honkers Ale. It's easily available in English bitter, full of malty goodness with a little bitter bite and lots of flavor. Lower alcohol, easy drinking. It's called Honkers Ale. Love it. Next week, we look at a standard of craft brewing, the Pale Ale. Don't forget to check out Beer Untapped on Facebook. Drink local and drink responsibly. Beer Untapped with Perry Miller. Thank you for listening to this archived edition of Beer Untapped with Perry Miller. Feel free to listen to other episodes, and if there's anything you'd like us to talk about on a future show, please let us know. Thanks again.